It's a hard task trying to hide your fear as you continue through the sea of broken exiles. You begin to wonder if this was where the beings whose companions had either moved on from this world or became the victims of the Elder's wrath ended up, alone and forgotten. Unlike the other chasers, these ones are completely mute and stare blankly ahead of them as they trail themselves about. You watch the cogs and mechanisms at their joints of their metal skeletons move with the being's motions, while they themselves seem completely oblivious of what is happening around them. As you return your attention to the path ahead, that's when you see it, quite possibly the last remaining tree in this realm. Unlike the others, this one possesses glistening gold leaves and is similar to a willow, with its cascading branches, each showered in these unique leaves. On your approach, you see slight movement coming from behind the tree, before the familiar face you have been seeking steps out into view. He had been true to his word all along, and here he was, waiting in the exact place he had mentioned. To say you are pleased to see him would be an understatement. The look on his face implies he is somewhat amazed as to how you managed to make it all this way without being harmed. Although, there is still time for that.
Oh, thank goodness. I was beginning to think the elders had found you.
He turns as he addresses the highly decorated tree behind him.
These are the leaves of the living. As a place of this world disappears, a life is created in the living realm. This is the life link between our worlds.
A smile stretches over his face as he makes his way over to you. But the guilt building within you causes you to stop, stepping away from him. You see the clear confusion on his face, but after realizing his dedication towards getting you back to the living world was still very much there, you can't bring yourself to let anything happen to him. Although this decision has come a little too late.
I apologize for what you witnessed in the cavern. Frederick, if it makes it any easier for you to digest, he chose his fate. He had been living with a false face for so long, he wanted out of here, and he considered this to be an appropriate time to leave. I hope he found what he was looking for.
He explains, considering your hesitance is due to the aftermath of Frederick's demise. To add more to the situation, a second patrol of the exiles, and the curiosity of finding out whether you had managed to make it to your destination, has brought Rosalind and Lily to the area. Now surrounded by the confused faces of all three of them, you cover your ears and tightly close your eyes in the hopes that Mercy was using your physical senses as her way to see and hear the world. Unfortunately, that's not how she's operating. She slowly brings herself back into the world out of nowhere, creating a dust from which she appears. You've disobeyed me once again, Elliot. I'm afraid this time you'll not be leaving here intact, if at all. The disbelief and fear on Elliot's face triggers the distress in Lily's eyes as Mercy draws closer. Although the superior admitted she no longer had the same feelings for Elliot that she once did, you know there is something still there. Something she is still holding on to.
Stop! Please, please don't do this!
Just before the elder manages to reach him, she turns with a sinister grin on her face. She has heard everything and seen everything up until this moment, but nothing about a protective bond has been mentioned. However, her suspicions have now been set in stone. She knows the bond is between Lily and Elliot. I knew allowing you superior status was a mistake, but the other elders overthrew my decision. Now look what's happening. The world is turning to ash. I knew I was right. I'm afraid you leave me no choice. Lily steps forward before Mercy has a chance to continue. Her dark tears stream down her face as she wanders towards the unstable elder, ready and willing to accept the fate that awaits her. Rosalind reaches out and places her hand on Lily's shoulder. She knows what is about to happen, and she isn't prepared to let her friend go.
Lily, think about what you're doing.
I know exactly what this means for me. But I'm ready to accept whatever punishment is in store for me. I can't do this anymore. Living this life with no purpose. Nothing.
She pauses for a few seconds before revealing the very thing that would allow her to cross over from this world and leave all the darkness behind her.
I've had enough time to think. Elliot was my husband in life, and the father of the daughter neither him nor I lived long enough to meet.
Little does she know, this is also what the elder needs to destroy the last little part of her she has held close throughout all these years. She turns to look at Elliot as the tears continue to fall. To her surprise, she watches him slowly make his way over to her. He is lost for words but listens to everything she has to say. After all, this was his one chance of finding out about his past and who he was before he left the living world.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I kept it from you for so long. But I didn't really have a choice. It appears the living world isn't much different from this one. They are both so cruel and unfair. And although so much has changed, and you clearly don't remember anything, I always kept the hope within me that one day things would be different.
The reunion is soon cut short by the elder's words once again, as the dusty, shadowy form returns. Clearly, she had saved up more magic than you originally thought. As touching as this is, I'm afraid what you've done will result in the demise of many. I feel it's only right for you to see the damage you've done before you leave.
Mercy, what's happening here is between you, Elliot, and me. No one else needs to be part of this.
You know as well as I that nothing remains settled forever. It will only be a matter of time before you stain their innocence with what you have done today. They'll begin to think it's acceptable to disobey the rules set out to protect the others. Best to be rid of the cluster of your associates before this negative behaviour consumes them too. Let's begin, shall we?